Welcome to our January 2019 show of Outlook Video. Tavi Clark with Center for Research and Education on Gender and Sexuality. A book and performances by Cota. Mural by Vielula.
Good evening and welcome to Outlook Video, your nationally recognized award-winning news magazine for the LGBTQ community. I'm Roberta Gonzales-Gregg.
And I'm Raley. This past October, Outlook Video was one of the over 100 participants at the OurTown San Francisco Nonprofit Expo in San Francisco, which expressively presented LGBTQ service providers, arts and athletic groups to the community.
One such group we met up with was the Center for Research and Education on Gender and Sexuality, or CREGS. I spoke with Tavi Clark, lead recruiter for CREGS at the Expo. She kindly agreed to come to the Create TV studios for an interview to tell us more about CREGS. It's a community service and together study.
We look forward to your interview with Tavi later in tonight's show. Gabrielle will interview Cota, performance artist and a San Jose native. As a teen, he studied acting at the American Conservatory Theater. Since then, he has performed theater in the Bay Area in numerous productions. Shane is currently working on producing performances of his self-published book, Queer Conversations. More on that later in the half hour. Well, Roberta, we all know you're proud Southern California native, but did you go back home to find out tonight's guest for the show?
Yes, I am proud of my San Diego roots. But this guest came to me by way of the San Francisco Chronicle. She was recently showcased on the style section of that paper and as a San Diego transplanted, queer artist. And once you see her work, you'll understand why.
Later in tonight's show, Roberta talks it up with that queer artist, Vielula, and what makes her artwork so special.
But first, Tavi Clark with the CREGS. With us tonight is Tavi Clark, the lead recruiter for the Center for Research Education on Gender and Sexuality, or CREGS. Tavi works on a specific project, the Together Study, which focuses on gay couples' sexual health. Tavi, welcome to Outlook Video. And tell us about this program that is all about sexual health and sexuality. That makes people go, wow, sexuality. Tell us more.
Thanks so much for having me, Roberta.
You bet.
Basically, CREGS is the Center for Research and Education on Gender and Sexuality. So we have two arms. One for education, we have a graduate studies program, also one of the oldest kind of intensive sexuality studies program, which is in the summer. It's the Summer Institute. And then we also have our research arm that we get grants from places like the National Institute for Health to run bigger studies like the Together Study, which is what I'm focusing on.
And tell us more about this Together Study.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Together Study, the main points, to kind of give some of the highlights, in case anybody listening is interested in being a part of it, we're looking for gay men in relationships who can be a part of our study, come down to our office in downtown San Francisco. Each couple that qualifies does get $500 for participating. And you get to go away feeling like you've really contributed to some meaningful research that's going to help the community. More in depth though, this is the culmination to a series of research studies that have been happening for about a decade now. The first studies show back in 2009 and 2012 show a kind of surprising and alarming statistic that gay men in relationships are contracting HIV at a pretty high rate. So between 40 and 68% of new HIV transmissions within the gay male population, or men who have sex with men, is all men who are in relationships.
Oh, that's rather surprising.
You know, everyone was surprised at first too, and this is one of the reasons that research is so important. Part of it is that we all have these assumptions that we carry around with us.
Yes.
And we need to test these assumptions to see whether or not they're true, and once in a while they are just wildly off. And in this case, you know, all of the HIV prevention had been focusing on single gay men because it was thought of as how many sexual partners someone was having, not necessarily whether the person was using protection.
Okay.
And
good point.
yeah, so when you think about it, someone for various reasons may be more inclined to not use protection with a trusted partner than they would with people that they are not as connected to and committed to.
Okay, so I can see the importance of this type of research.
Definitely.
Now, CREGS is that a gay men specific type of research, or do we have programs for lesbians, transgender, questioning, and bisexual?
Absolutely. So the Together study is a study that is targeted specifically for gay men, and the reason for that is, according to the CDC, let me make sure I've got my statistics here. It is, I believe, 67% of all HIV transmission is still with men who have sex with men, and that's a high enough statistic. And I mean, for the reasons of funding, that is the group that's going to get the most attention.
Okay. But you do have research programs for the other groups we just spoke about.
Absolutely, there are less funded research that is for all of the other. Like we have a really good one that concluded relatively recently called Beyond Bullying, and that was to go into more storytelling for students to not just hear about how to be tolerant of each other and whatnot in schools, but how to actually get to know people from these different parts of the community.
Okay, well that almost answered one of my questions. Does CREGS also focus on mental and social well-being?
Absolutely, and I will say that it's really important to mention that the study that we're doing, the Together study, it's a communication study. We are very invested in the mental health and well-being of the community in general, which will also apply to every other category as well. The findings of this study, I really believe, are going to be things that even straight people are going to benefit from, because it's really talking about how to improve and have better, more open, honest, direct communication in relationships.
Oh, that's great, because you're quite right, because many of our supporters for the LGBT community comes from the straight community as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's good to see how they can intermingle and have some honest and open discourse. So terrific, excellent. This is very good. Now tell us, how can our viewers find out more about your programs?
Well, there are a few ways to get involved. Definitely come and look for the Together Study, togetherstudy.org.
Okay.
There's also a phone number that you guys are going to post at the end.
We'll show that on the screen in just a few minutes.
And if you aren't able to participate in this particular study as as a gay couple, you can definitely contribute by donating if you have the means.
There you go.
And let us know if there are things that you'd like to see us study more. We would love to be able to do that if we get the right funding.
Well, that's fantastic that you're doing this work for our community.
Absolutely.
Because all of that research just helps us all. So
thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And again, if you want to find out more about the Center for Research Education on Gender and Sexuality, which is at 835 Market Street in San Francisco, you can give them a call at 888-688-1777 or go to the togetherstudy.org. Thanks again for watching.
I'm Derek Martin, and you're watching Outlook Video.
Welcome to Outlook Video. I'm Gabrielle Antolovich, and we have Shane Cota here, who is an amazing writer, actor, performer, who has written a book called Queer Conversations.
Yes.
So tell me, are these queer conversations with other people or with yourself?
So Queer Conversations, the book itself is about coming out stories and dealing with the hardships of coming out. And so these are really conversations I've had with people growing up, people that I've met, family, friends, strangers in different gay communities, and that's what inspired me to write these monologues and these poems. Mainly wrote it to encourage our youth that are currently struggling with coming out or any hardship that they have with identifying as an LGBTQ person. So that's really what it was written for.
It's interesting to me because as an older person who's struggled coming out, it really hurts to know that young people are still struggling. What is that about?
Right, and actually in the book also, I had a friend tell me the same thing. They even said, aren't we done telling our coming out stories? The older generation's done that. But the sad thing is, if you look in today's news, all the bullying that's going on and the unfortunate youth suicides, it's just horrible. Yeah. So I really wanted to be a voice here in the San Jose community and let our youth know that, hey, I'm living proof that's been through it, and other people have been through it, and you can definitely make it through. These hardships aren't going to last forever, and it does get better.
Yes, it really does. I know, and I'm glad a young person like you is out there doing that it's not just us old people. So I have an interesting question. On the cover of the book, you have split up your face. And I find that so strange because you have such a beautiful face. I'm a photographer, so really appreciate the look, and yet you cut it all up.
Well, thank you for that compliment about my face. But the main thing was I didn't want the focus too much to be, if you can look on the spine of the book as well, there's nothing written there. It's very plain. I want the focus to mainly be on the stories inside. But the reason that I did the split face as the cover is because a lot of these stories, I'm in one or two different stories, so it's really different parts of myself. Because the experiences in these stories are not just those of friends and family. I mean, I've dealt with homelessness, I've dealt with drug addiction, I dealt with being thrown out because of living in a religious household. So a lot of other people's stories in there are also similar to mine. So you're seeing a lot of my own life in that. So that's why the split face, because you're seeing different parts of myself throughout the entire book.
That's interesting. As an artist, that compassion and melding with other people's experiences is what really makes an artist, right? And not only have you written this book, but you also perform it. So how do you do that?
So let me just say that the inspiration came from one night when I was watching an HBO special of Eve Ensler, who wrote the Vagina Monologues. And I saw she originally did it as a one-woman show. And I said, this is a very interesting story, what this woman is doing with the Vagina Monologues and empowering women. I thought, why couldn't I take LGBTQ stories and do the same thing? And so that kind of was the inspiration for it. And so I've done, as you know, a reading at the DeFrank Center in June as a Pride event. I've done an event at the Youth Space here in San Jose. And my goal is, right now it's on Amazon, and the goal is with the funds raised from the selling of the book to do more performances in 2019, rent out local theaters, perform it for the community, maybe take it to other cities. I have a acting troupe, all volunteer acting troupe of friends and actors that I know very well. They do theater here in the Bay Area, and they're all interested, on board to do this, and that's the goal, definitely.
That's exciting because in a funny sort of way, it's combining art and activism. Do you see it as that?
Absolutely, and I definitely want my voice and the community's voice to get louder and stronger, and definitely want to encourage youth to do the same and to realize that you do have a voice and you can use it to promote the quality of life and happiness of life as an LGBT person. So,
do you have a second book in you?
Right now I'm actually working on a book of poetry, all poems, and it's actually going to be poems that I've written since I was a young teenager, all the way up to now. And you're going to get to see, the feelings I had back then up to now and the change, and you're going to see it go from dark to light, because I did have a lot of complications as a teen, you know, going through so many different, so much turmoil in my life. And some of it is in this book, but in this poetry book, it's going to be all about that.
Oh, that's interesting. So that'll be more personal.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is more how you relate to other people's stories.
Right.
That's right. That's interesting. So you got your feet wet with this one.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to dive in the second
Yes,
one.
absolutely.
Yeah, it takes courage, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It was a long process because I wrote these stories years ago. And at the beginning of the year is when I first thought about self-publishing. And, you know, you have your doubts, but in the end, you know, the cause and the reason that you're doing it, you know, is the most important. And when I actually did the reading at the DeFrank Center, I had a young man come up to me afterwards and tell me, he goes, you know, your story is my story. And that right there is the whole purpose that I'm doing it for.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't wait. Thank you. You've been listening to Shane Cota.
Thank you. We will continue to rise up and speak out for those voices who are not heard, for the men and women in distant lands that face oppression, for the children that are hurting, trying to find their place, to eliminate prejudice and to celebrate diversity. Let us not forget the reason why we march, the reason why we celebrate. We will continue to unite, we will continue to dance, and we will fly our flags with dignity, honor, and self-respect. We will move forward and strive for a better future, for a change. Know that you are good, you are beautiful, you are amazing. We are the LGBTQ community, and today and forevermore, we are proud of who we are.
Yes. Yes.
We'd love to get mail from you. Email us at comments@outlookvideo.org.
To contact us by phone, call 408-293-3040, extension 205.
Visit our website at outlookvideo.org.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/outlookvideo.
And connect with us at facebook.com/outlookvideo.
To have your artwork showcased in San Francisco Chronicle is no small feat. But when you walk down San Francisco's Clarion Alley and view my guest's fabulous mural, you'll know just why I'm so excited to showcase the work of fellow San Diego native, Vielula. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And that piece just knocks my socks off.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's lovely. So off camera, we were talking, and you've been an artist all your life, correct?
Yes, I have.
Yes, yes. And you started maybe as a small child, but now you're teaching small children, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
It's wonderful to be teaching children. They're so inspiring.
Yes.
Yes, they have an innate creativity.
And have you taken them down the alley to see some of your work?
Some of my students I have.
Yes, indeed. Now, again, that is no small feat to have your artwork shown in a large mural of that size in San Francisco. How did that come about?
I had a friend who was helping organize the murals in the alley over 10 years ago, and I heard that one area was kind of up for grabs because it had been tagged many, many times and wasn't being upkept. So then I started in that space and then just really got involved in the alley.
But the subject is just fantastic. It's the females, but they're in animal form. And speaking of animal form, you have a little coloring book called Barnyard Babes.
Yes.
So tell us about the Barnyard Babes and this mural with the two female and animal figures. How did this come about, and what inspired you to do this?
I was doing a lot of collages for a while, and I thought that transposing animal heads on people was a good way to create social commentary and kind of show the absurdity of what humans do. So that's how it came about.
Yes.
And yeah, I just thought it was funny and fun.
Well, in this book, you've got, and they're all the female, which I love the fact that they are all ladies, and ladies in different, I mean, some of them look so cute and some so sexy.
Yeah.
These are just this is more of an adult coloring book, and I get to keep this one. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to have fun coloring this one. So I love the fact that you do that take. So were you invited as a queer artist, or just to do this particular work and show the lesbian point of view, or was this your own take and your own doing?
Yeah, it was my own doing. It's kind of up to the artist what kind of subject matter they want to go for. It gets approved, but yeah, so I just wanted to showcase queer art and celebrate queerness in a happy, positive way.
And most of your artwork that I've seen on your website, which is gorgeous, you've got lots and lots of beautiful pieces of work there, but they do focus on the lesbian point of view. So being a lesbian, that's just what you wanted to showcase too?
Yeah, I feel like I can speak to it because that's who I am.
Yes, okay, all right. And what is your favorite media? Is it sketching? Is it painting? Is it sculpting? What is your favorite media?
I kind of go through phases. So right now I've been going through a huge collage phase, but I love doing painting and drawing.
What type of sculpting? Is it going to be clay? Is it going to be metal? Is it
It's
going
going
to
to
be some other type of media?
Soft sculpture, like with fabric and glitter and cardboard. I'm going to make these gender non-conforming monsters and then do a video project with it, with projections. And
that sounds great.
I'm excited.
Oh.
I don't know yet. Maybe ATA in San Francisco, but yeah, I need to make the video first, and then I wanted to do a thing in the window. But if not there, I was talking a little bit with the Harvey Milk Center about doing a show there. And I also want to collaborate with a dance group and do my collages as projections on the dancers with have the dancers be wearing white clothes, and then like I wanted to collaborate with a local poet. So I got some exciting
You've got some
projects.
Great ideas.
Yeah.
How creative. And besides this particular place in San Francisco, where else can your work be seen?
It's going to be up on the Muni starting in 2012 in January for all of spring, a series of collages. So that's very exciting.
Great. Now, did that come about in the same fashion that the mural came about? Was it through friends of other artists, or was it the Muni after the article in the San Francisco Chronicle? Did that happen before that or after that?
I applied in the spring, and then there was a voting situation.
So there's a process.
And yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and so they got to see your work and chose it as well, and obviously thought highly of it also. So, and you attended school here for art school as well, yes?
Yes, I did.
What school was that?
I went to California College of the Arts.
Ah, perfect. Terrific. So you've been well trained and kind of well heeled in a way. Yes.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. What do you like best about showing your work in San Francisco?
I feel like it's a safe place. It's a safe space, and I feel like it's an opportunity for me to fully voice how I'm feeling as a queer person, and not feel afraid.
Oh, that means a lot. And how did they find out? How did the San Francisco Chronicle come to you?
A friend gave my coloring books to one of the people that work in the style section, and he loved them. So
yes, that was a wonderful piece of work that they did for you in the San Francisco Chronicle style section, which led me to contact you as well. Yes, so I want to thank you very much for bringing that artwork out into the world, to San Francisco,
welcome.
to us lucky people in the San Francisco Bay Area, and also to Outlook Video. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for appreciating it.
You bet. And so if people want more to see your work, they can go to your email address, which is, would you read it for us?
It's crystaliaherman@hotmail.com.
Okay.
The website is crystalvielula.com.
Okay, which is www.crystalvielula.com. Excellent. Well, please take a look at some of her work. It is fabulous. You're going to enjoy it as much as I did, and as much as you'll see the rest of some of her work a little bit later in the show. Thank you again for being with us tonight.
You're
for
very welcome.
Showing us your work and sharing with all of us.
Definitely.
Continued success.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
That's our show for this month. We hope you enjoyed our interviews. Please contact us if you have ideas for people or events you'd like to see on our show.
And you can watch extended versions of our segments and archive past programs on Outlook Video's YouTube channel at youtube.com/OutlookVideo. And be sure to click the subscribe button to get the updates.
And friend us on Facebook at facebook.com/OutlookVideo. This program is made possible by generous donations from viewers like you and talented volunteers behind the camera, whose names you'll see as we close.
We close this month's program with interviews from OurTown SF Expo. From all of us here at Outlook Video, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year!
But we've got such a rich fabric of community-based organizations, and that is the richness that is San Francisco.
Sure, my name is Okan Sangan. We are the LGBT Asylum Project. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides free legal services for LGBT asylum seekers, so they don't have to go back to countries like Nigeria, Uganda, where there is death penalty or harsh imprisonment for being gay, lesbian, transgender, or bisexual.
All the talk right now in the news about immigration, we seldom hear about the LGBT community. Now, is there indeed a large community of people seeking asylum from other countries who are in the LGBT community?
Absolutely, yes. With the current administration, our immigrant community is afraid of what will happen to them because their rights are getting limited. So we are getting more and more applicants to apply for asylum from the LGBT community here, because the rest of the world also is their countries criminalizing being LGBT. Russia passed an anti-gay propaganda law in 2013, so there are more people coming into the United States to seek asylum.
Okay, and if someone is seeking asylum, how do they contact you?
They can go to our website. It's www.lgbtasylumproject.org. They can send us an email. We are at these events. We're in the Castro. We have an office downtown in San Francisco as well. And we also do monthly asylum drop-in clinics here in the Castro. It's at the San Francisco AIDS Foundation's Strutt building. It's every second Saturday of the month, and it's open to everyone. It's a free clinic. We have lawyers providing free consultations.
This is absolute wonderful service you are providing for our immigrant brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for the work you do, and thank you for taking some time to come to Outlook Video.
Of course, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
I've got my life together now. Yes, I know how I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna